I want to get to that question that I kind of teased earlier is who's coming into that fifth role, right? If the second unit, as we just talked about, we both kind of feel like Anthony Black is in, Cole is in, Moritz is in, J.I. is in, or when that, like, Franz being staggered there. Who's going to be a fifth guy? You got to think that Mosley's going to go deep with 10 guys for every game because of just the depth of this team. Who else is in there? Who do you see making it? Is it Tristan da Silva? Is it the wily vet guard in Gary Harris? Has Caleb Houston with that shooting, done enough and that size? What about Jet Howard? That we drafted that guy 2 years ago, number 11 overall. Who is playing for you, Peach, in that last role? How's that going to go?
Well, I think to start off, it's probably going to be Gary Harris, but I think Da Silva is going to slot in there pretty quickly. It sounds like people are more impressed with him than we even thought. And I think we may have found a steal in this draft from everything that we're kind of hearing out there. It'll be nice to see. But I think Mose is going to want to see that too, right? He's going to want to see what he can deliver. But he's always had a soft spot for the veterans to go in there first because he trusts them and he knows what they bring. So until that rest of that backup group is playing well together and, AB's in the fold and all that stuff, I think Gary slots in well there. And then when they're comfortable, that's when you try Da Silva in there. I mean, this is just a theory that I have, but I think that's probably the way they're going to go. I still think Jet Howard is a big swing and a miss by us, but maybe I'm wrong there. I just don't think he fits that spot off the bench. I think he'd be more in the just a shooting guard there to chuck it up kind of deal. I don't know if he has the defensive intensity to get minutes with our squad.
Yeah, I'll start right there. I think that is the big question around Jet has he gotten good enough on the defensive side of the ball? We all know that he could chuck it up, that he can shoot it. He's been talking about consistent intensity at practice. And, he knows that if he is going to get onto the court, he's going to have to play defense. So that's the big question mark. And just quickly kind of looking at Tristan da Silva through the summer league games and what you can see in his highlights from college, he seems like one of those guys that is just intuitively defensive minded. He just already kind of understands the positioning on the floor. I'm sure part of it is that, and I'm sure part of it is he's worked really fucking hard in his life to become a better player and to look at film and to be a smart guy. I just think he probably brings more right out the gate than Jet this season. And so I agree with you. I would love to see Tristan da Silva in there. I mean, the way that his shot is quick, man. It's high release. Like, he is smart. He doesn't try to do too much. I think he fits in anywhere. Wendell Carter Jr. was joking in the post practice stuff. Tristan da Silva came over to the media scrum and asked him, "Hey, what do you think about the Rook?" And Wendell was joking, but I think part of it is serious. He's like, "Man, this dude reminds me of Franz Wagner." He said, just look at Franz Wagner, eat what he eats, practice when he practices, do what he does, and you'll be making a lot of money. And everyone had a laugh at that. Franz just got that max extension. But I mean, we might be the ones laughing. And like you said, because we got a steal in this draft, because this kid looks good. Now, he is an older rookie. He's older than Jet. So as much as we might get into turmoil and say, "Oh, Jet was number 11 and he's got to play. We invested so much." Yes, you're right. We did as a team, but also he's younger than Da Silva, I think, by a couple years still. So it wouldn't be the craziest thing for Da Silva to come in. I think there's a path for Jet to get some time in certain games. I don't think it would be crazy if coach goes 11-12 deep some games, if it's a team that we're really putting it on. But Jet seems...
The Wizards.
I always try to circle those games. Like the Nets, this year, they're going to be shit. So those are games that I can get to in the Northeast where the tickets are cheap. And it's fun to get there, to sit really good. But that's a tangent. For Jet, he's saying all the right things publicly. I hope he's really meaning it, that, he sees the vision for himself. Coach Mosley's made it really clear, like, what guys' roles are. And those guys at the end of the bench, they're going to have to get in when they get in. Every few games, Coach Mosley said maybe. So he's got to make the best of those moments. And then maybe the plan is further for Jet. Coach Weltman is obsessed with length, positional length. And as much as we love Cole Anthony, it's very clear he doesn't fit into that mold. And I know he just got an extension last year, but that extension will run out right around the time that Jet Howard is inking his rookie extension. So maybe the long-term plan is like, hey, Jet, just hang around. You're going to be getting some more minutes, not maybe this year, but next year. Will Jet Howard be okay with that? I don't know. It would take a lot of maturity to understand and see that vision and buy into the team in that way for a guy who's probably been one of the best players or the best player every step of the way. I'm really interested in Jet Howard this year, Peach. Like I hope he touches the floor because that is a lot. Like if it's just a guy that we've been stashing for not this year but next year and the year after, number 11 pick, that's a lot for that, and I think it speaks to the depth. I don't know. I don't know if Gary Harris gets minutes, honestly. I think he might be end-of-the-bench guy. I think he might be accepting that role. I might disagree with you a little bit of that. I think Tristan da Silva wins that job out of training camp. I just feel that way. I don't know.
I'm for that. I'm for that. I just was asked what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to go with Gary Harris. But you know me, I'm not a huge Gary fan. I mean, yeah, I like what he can. I like what he can do from time to time. I think his best years are behind him, and I'd rather see Da Silva in there. So I think he will get it at some point. You think he'll start there? I'm cool with it. Hopefully that's true.